Hello everyone, this is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship. Appreciate you guys joining me today on the ranch road. And today, I tell you, I'm going to touch on something that might be kind of news to some of you. Some of you won't be quite so newsworthy, but at the same time, it's just something I feel like I've got to discuss. I'm going to go way back to when I very first started doing clinics and seminars, and shortly after I started doing that, I began to get offers to do endorsements. Okay, and I'm not going to mention the saddle company's name here, but I had a saddle company come up to me after a major horse expo. I believe it was up in the Northeast, actually, and that guy that represented that major saddle company came to me and wanted to know if I would design and endorse a saddle for them. And I kind of told him my story, and my story is that I was raised in a little town called Campbell, Texas. At that time, the Billy Cook saddle shop, the original Billy Cook saddle shop, was right there in Greenville, Texas. And in fact, Billy was our neighbor. I mean, he was literally right down the way from me. Oh, not even a mile, probably not even a half a mile from where we lived and where I was raised. So frequently as a kid, we would go to the Billy Cook saddle shop, and I'd see stuff. I'd see how the saddles were built, and of course smell all the new leather, and of course back in that day and time too, the Billy Cook Roper was the hottest saddle in the roping business. I mean, everybody that was anybody wanted a Billy Cook Roper. I mean, that was kind of the big thing back in that day and time. And so anyway, when that guy came to me at that expo and asked me if I would endorse a saddle, the first thing I thought of was Billy Cook. And I told the guy, I was very honest, and I said, "Sir, if you don't mind, I'm very honored that you would ask me if I would do a saddle with you guys. But the reality is that, you know, I was raised right down the way from Billy Cook Saddlery. I, rode Billy Cook saddles growing up, and I really feel like that I would at least give him an opportunity to tell me no. If I'm going to do a saddle endorsement with anybody, I should at least call Mr. Cook and ask him to give me, a consideration, but at least give him the opportunity to tell me no, right?" So anyway, the guy understood that. And as soon as I got home, I called Mr. Billy Cook and told him what the situation was. And it was kind of odd because he had no idea who I was. He remembered me by my stepdad's last name, but he did not remember me by my name. And of course, I wasn't offended. I kind of thought it was kind of funny the way he presented that to me. Like, for example, it was very humbling. He says, "Van Hargis, who? Well, who are you?" And it was just comical how he responded. But nonetheless, I told him my story. He asked me the name of the saddle company. He said, "Do you know anything about them?" I says, "No, sir." He said, "Well, I'm telling you, you don't want to put your name on a piece of crap saddle like that. You don't want to do that. They just don't have a good reputation. They don't build good quality saddles. What sort of saddle are you looking to build?" And I told him, and I said, "Sir, I have no idea really. I mean, so I do a little bit of everything." And I did. At that time, I was calf roping, team roping. I was even steer rustling at some of the rodeos, and I just started showing horses more at that stage, and I was kind of getting into the ranch horse versatility. So man, when he asked me what specifically kind of saddle, I had no idea, because did I want him to design me or did I want to design and have him build for me a cutting saddle, another roping saddle, or what, another ranch saddle? I had no idea, because I had several saddles to choose from, and I used various saddles for different things. So he told me to think about it, and about a day or so later, I said, "Mr. Cook, what I'd like to do is do an all-around saddle, something that is not only just good for me to ride every day, but something that when people are trying to figure out what they want to do, they can ride one saddle to be really diverse and versatile for a lot of different things." So we wanted to build one that was comfortable. We wanted to build one that was a little bit more flat seat in the front for those who might want to do a bit of ranch cutting type stuff, and but at the same time stout enough to rope out of. And I put all these things together, and he told me, he says, "Son, you put together the specifics and all the specifications, and I'll do my best to build that saddle for you." And I did, and quite frankly, the very first saddle he built was spot on. In other words, oftentimes when you have something like that done, the prototype, in other words, the first saddle, is not quite right on, and you kind of have to make a few little adjustments here and there. But I mean, the very first one he did was perfect. I mean, I took it home and I rode it, and I called him back and I said, "There's nothing about it I would change. It's ideal." Well, shortly after that, we went to the Denver market, which is WESA, the Western English Sales Association in Denver, Colorado. Everybody just calls it the Denver market. And we introduced that saddle, and it was one of Billy's best-selling saddles that year. And so the saddle was just going out to all the different retailers, and it was just really good. It was really good for Mr. Cook, and it was really good for me. I was incredibly honored that I could do what my granddad used to say too, and that's dance with who brung you. In other words, build the saddle and do it with a company and a gentleman that I had a history with. Now, it was more than just the history that Billy Cook Saddle Shop was right down the way from me when I was growing up. Another part of that history is that Mr. Cook's wife was my very first paying customer. I was a whopping 12 years of age, and every summer you could see me riding the horses up and down the road, and just as busy as I could be in the summertime, just entertaining myself. And because I was an only child, my entertainment was oftentimes the horses and the animals on the ranch. So she came to me one day and said, you know, I've been seeing you ride it down these roads all the time, and if I brought you a horse this summer, would you ride it for me? And I did. She paid me for it. So that was my very first paying customer, was a Mr. Cook's wife. So there's the history. So what does all that have to do with today? Well, today, of course, Mr. Billy Cook has passed away. But for several years now, my saddles have been built by another company. For quite some time, I had my versatility saddle that some of you are very familiar with, and also my Colt starting saddle, which was the first of its kind, was also manufactured. And both of those were manufactured by Court Saddlery. Love the people, phenomenal, and sadly today they're no longer in business. And but I loved them to death. They did a good job for me, and we got lots of the versatility saddles and the Colt starting saddle out on the market. It was really good for everybody. Well, during that time, we stopped our relationship with Billy Cook for several reasons, and it's not because I didn't love the guy dearly. It's just there were other reasons why we quit that. But here was the hiccup. The hiccup is that even though he took my name off the saddle, like, you know, as per request, and I no longer endorsed it, there were still retailers out there that were selling my saddle and using my name to promote it. So I'm telling you guys this, is that if you happen to see a Van Hargis all-around saddle that's new in a retail store, it no longer has my endorsement. And there's several reasons why, but the number one reason why is because the trees in those saddles, quite frankly, weren't up to my specification. Good saddles, good quality workmanship and that sort of thing, the trees weren't good. Now, what is a good tree? Now we're going to go up to today. All of my saddles today, as well as my bits, my headstalls and everything, are all made by Reinsman Equestrian Products. The company's owned now by Steve Tucker, who also owns Circle Y and whatever. But here's the other thing, why other saddles can't meet the specification that Reinsman does, and my specification. Every saddle that I put my name on now has a lifetime warranty on that tree. And so the quality of the saddle has gone up exponentially, and for that reason I can and will no longer endorse the old Billy Cook saddles with my name on it, just because of the fact that I want to be able to offer both myself, my horses, and all of our customers and clients a better quality saddle. I don't want people to have to worry and stress about, well, is this saddle going to fit, and is it going to break, and all those things that are genuine concerns. But please let me help you eliminate those. If you're interested in the quality that we demand, I recommend that you stay away from that other thing and focus more on the true Van Hargis saddles, which is the Van Hargis Colt starting saddle, the Van Hargis versatility saddle, and now Reinsman is also going to be building the Van Hargis all-around saddle. So just to kind of keep you guys up to date, if you happen to see any of those saddles out there that are retailing as a Van Hargis Billy Cook all-around, please let us know so that we can stop that. And for another reason, I don't get compensated for that. So just want to let you guys know that if you wanted a good quality saddle, get those off our website or go to Reinsman and let us know how we can help you make that happen. But remember, the older saddles do not have the lifetime warranty. They don't have the specifications that meet my standards. And for that reason, Reinsman makes my equipment exclusively. and I'm very grateful for that relationship, and we look forward to bringing you guys the best quality products that we can, and I'm looking forward to continuing that long working relationship with Reinsman Equestrian Products. So appreciate you guys joining me today. That's hopefully going to get you guys caught up to speed. And until next time, remember, this is Van Hargis with Van Hargis Horsemanship.